Hey everyone, so this video is all about how to conquer nap training. Nap training is tough, it's hard work, and lots of people find it so grueling they give up in the end, and it's hard, it really is hard. So I wanted to share with you 5 steps on how you can conquer nap training. Number 1 is to know your child's sleep needs. You need to know how much sleep they need during the day and at night in order to work out when those naps are going to actually need to occur. If you don't know their sleep needs and you don't know their sleep windows, so if you don't know how long they can be awake between sleeps, then the chances are you will time the nap wrong and the nap won't work. So to give yourself the best possible start and to really, to really enable your child to actually optimize the chance of them falling asleep nicely, settling lovely, staying asleep longer, you do need to know their sleep needs, their sleep windows, and how long they can go between sleeps. You also need to know the transitional stages that they go through. So is your baby at the stage where they need 3 naps a day? Are they moving towards 2 naps a day? Or are they going from 2 to 1? Or even 1 to no nap? Knowing those transitions, when they occur, and how to navigate those transitions is also really important, because during those transitions, you might find that no 2 days look the same temporarily as they make that move. So knowing those needs is really, really key. Number 2 is you need to dedicate 2 clear weeks to nap training. So decide when you're going to do it and commit to it for a good 2 weeks. If you sort of dip in and out, you try for a bit, it gets tough, you give up, then again, there's no consistency there and the poor child won't know what to expect. So dedicate 2 clear weeks and stick with it for 2 clear weeks. Number 3, practice will get you results eventually. So even if you have a plan and you're practicing, you're working on that nap, but it's just not happening, and 1, 2, 3 days go by and you think there's no improvement. I've been consistent, I've been putting my child down the same way, I've been responding or trying to help them resettle consistently every day, and it's just not getting any better. Every day nap time is torture and you're finding it really tough. Just know that that practice will count. It will show up if you keep with it. Each time you're doing it, that child is getting, practice and exposure to that routine and that process. And so long as you're confident that plan is right for you and what you're doing does suit your child, it will come through. You've just got to stick with it. And I have so many parents that can tell you that they've worked with me and been there and gone, but Lucy, it's not happening. And I've gone, stick with it. And then they've gone, oh yes, at last you were right. It does count for something. So practice makes perfect. Practice does count. Stick with it. Tip number 4, it is hard work. Nap training is hard work. Let's not pretend it's going to be a breeze. It is hard. Settling for naps is harder for children and babies than settling for nighttime sleep. So don't think it's going to be a walk in the park. It may be tricky, but if it gets too much, or if you're not sure and you need to get some help, take a break. It's okay to take a break. Take some time out from it and then revisit it when you've got renewed strength and confidence in what you're doing. Also have a backup plan. Have a backup plan for every nap. If it's not happening, you need almost like a fail-safe. You need to, if a pushchair walk or a trip out in the car is going to lull them off with motion, then use that backup plan so they do get the sleep they need. There's no point in persisting with trying to get your child to nap the right way and then they get no sleep at all. That's worse. So I'd rather a motion nap than no nap at all. But just being aware, I think my 4th tip is about, it is hard work, it isn't easy, so dedicate a clear time when you feel that you have the strength and the know-how and you're confident about what you're doing so that you can implement that plan. And tip number 5, prepare for a moving schedule at first. So if there's been, some overtiredness, or perhaps your child should be on 1 nap a day for their age, their developmental stage says that that's where they really ought to be, but you know your child just can't cope on one nap a day, you might need to manipulate that a little bit, add an extra one in, do what you need to do to avoid overtiredness, because that will just throw everything off. There's no point trying to force your child into a schedule that isn't right for them. If they're overtired, if they need extra, that's gonna have to be there. And then as you replenish that sleep tank, then you can probably remove that extra sleep and get down to where is right for their age. It can be a little bit of a pull there between what they're actually developmentally wanting to do and what their tiredness is dictating. So when that's happening, just be prepared for, like I say, a moving schedule, a bit of a moving target as their needs change and the tiredness starts to reduce. So there you go, 5 tips on how you can conquer nap training. If you need a plan to actually go about that, then do get in touch. We can set you up with a plan tailored to you and your family, and then you can use those tips to make sure you actually see it through and conquer that nap training.